Seen oil prices up 15% this month. Patrick, do you think gasoline prices will continue to trend higher into next year?
Well, Sully, absolutely. We're starting to see prices revert in some states as the Omicron fears subside. Oil prices starting to pick up momentum. Not a surprise. Another repeat, really, of 2021, in which we start very quietly like a lamb, and we may see a lion come out in March or April as gas prices tend to go up every year by 25 to 75 cents a gallon between winter lows and springtime peaks. And I think that's a recipe that could see the national average eclipse that $4 a gallon mark as early as April or May.
That is not the news that everybody wants to hear. So if that's the national average, Patrick, and I won't go into the PAD system, I see that map behind you. You got my state of my birth, California, all in yellow. How high could we go there in the Golden State? $5?
Well, conceivably, easily into the $5 a gallon territory. San Francisco hit $4.80 a gallon. Throwing a couple refinery issues on the West Coast would always cause prices to soar there. And very quickly, California this spring could see prices in San Francisco approaching that mid $5 gallon territory, Sully. Nobody wants to see it. But keep in mind, these high gas prices are not necessarily bad news. More, they are indicative of a strong economy.
They'll be driving atomic-powered go-karts by this time in San Francisco next year anyway, Patrick, so nobody cares. Let's talk about oil prices because they're related. You're not an oil guy, but I know you track it. You and I go back and forth on Twitter. Always value your insight. What is the lag between the move in price of oil and when our viewers and listeners actually have to pay that more at the pump? A couple weeks?
Well, it tends to be. A refinery goes down, Sully. It's really the degree and how sharply oil prices go up or down. Of course, increases are passed along by stations much faster. But when we saw oil prices plummet after Omicron was discovered late in November, it took weeks and we're still not. We never really got to the point where stations completely passed along the drop in price. In fact, the national average had the chance of maybe getting even closer to that sub $3 a gallon mark, but stations were just reeling it in, doing very well. But keep in mind, it's been a pretty volatile year. But the answer is it varies. And certainly I would think that 5 to 7 days, you start to see the impacts, but they can not be fully materialized for a couple of weeks.
And demand. I mean, here's the thing. We talk about air travel affecting jet fuel prices, Patrick. I don't know if you've traveled. I've traveled extensively in the last year. The number of cars on the road is stunning. Apparently, everybody is eschewing mass transit and buying their own cars, probably for safety reasons, whatever it may be. Do you see any chance demand goes down? All I'm seeing is freeways that are packed with cars 24/7.
Yeah, absolutely. In the holidays, we did see the strongest start to the week, Sully. Sunday through, I believe, Thursday was the strongest start to any week of 2021. Of course, as Americans get in position for their holidays, then we saw demand plummet. It led to a weekly drop in demand. But as you mentioned, I really don't see demand going down. Of course, you get the seasonal moves. January and February, nobody really wants to venture out, especially here in Chicago. It gets pretty awful. But then in March, April, and May, look for that pickup. And that coinciding with refinery maintenance. Keep in mind, there's less refinery capacity this spring than what we've seen in years past. You have a couple catalysts for a surge in gas prices.